Oh, man. That's kind of a loaded question. Is there anything I want to caution people about when they're interviewing realtors? Yeah, I have a recent story that I'm actually happy to share. I do a lot of work with sellers and buyers in adult communities. I feel like the senior citizen population is without a doubt taken advantage of. I've felt this from my insurance days when it came down to Medicare, in my real estate days, whether it be from realtors or roofers or, window salesmen, pest control. I mean, I honestly feel like these people are preyed upon, and I firmly believe that everybody deserves equal fiduciary responsibility. And in some cases, I feel like more than just representation. I believe that they deserve champions.
Are you not entertained?
I do a lot of work with them, and I was meeting with a couple who live in an adult community, and they were deciding whether or not to list their house, and they were interviewing multiple realtors. So they're sitting down with me and they're explaining how the number one thing that's important to them is saving money, maximizing their earnings potential, and they firmly believe that the best way to do that was in trying to reduce realtor commissions. Now, this is a sensitive topic for all realtors. We all have our own way of navigating it, and I gave them, my spiel. And at the end of it, I really did feel like they had a good understanding of the value that I would bring. And I honestly felt like I was in a really good position to earn the listing. A couple days after our meeting, they called me and told me that they were going with another realtor. So I asked them, in the spirit of constructive criticism, would you be willing to share with me, what I could have done differently to maybe earn your business? Because it turns out they had signed a listing agreement with that realtor during their meeting. And they told me that what that broker really did was sell them on how they operate their commission structure. And what he told them that they do is that whenever they have a listing, they really try to do their best to market solely within their brokerage. So if they have a listing and another agent in their brokerage brings a buyer, it gives them some negotiating power on both the buying and the selling side to reduce commissions for both the buyers and sellers. And they said that they had a lot of success in the previous year in doing that. And he told them that of all the transactions that they did last year, 33% of them were done in that fashion. And that was enough for them to sign the listing agreement right then and there based on the savings they would make on the commissions. So this immediately put up red flags for me. And as a lot of realtors were due, I started doing some investigating. And it turns out, no, they were not lying. They did do 33% of their deals within their brokerage. Thing is, their brokerage only did 9 total transactions throughout the course of the entirety of last year. So if they only did 9 and 33% of it was done in-house, I'll let you do the math. Needless to say, that is a complete manipulation of facts. It is absolutely taking advantage of a potential client's needs, concerns, and lack of experience. And that's the kind of stuff that just makes me sick to my stomach. It's going to make me worry about this couple for the next 3 months, which is apparently how long their listing agreement is. It's also going to keep me engaged with them and looking at what happens with their listing. But it's that kind of stuff that realtors can say and do and justify it by saying, well, I'm not lying. And it's just a complete manipulation. So, I say that to say this. If you are looking to list your home and you're looking to interview multiple realtors, first things first, figure out how many you want to interview. And I would never recommend interviewing more than 3. Once you get past 3, you're just recycling information. You're only going to confuse yourself. But as you interview each one, don't just sign a deal because you like what you hear in that moment. If you're really going to interview them, interview them. So interview the first one and write down the hot topic things that they say and how they answer your questions. And then take the information that you learn from that realtor and that interview and carry it over to the next one. You're going to be better prepared for the next one. And then take a separate log of all the hot topic things that realtor says and how they answer the questions that you formulated, both originally and based on the answers from the first realtor. And then carry that into the third one. But then at the end, give each of the realtors, now that you have a full breadth of information, give each of them a chance to respond to essentially what you have learned throughout the interview process. Because if that had happened in my situation, I would have easily been able to drop some real truth on them.
You can't handle the truth.
Whether or not they chose me in the end or not, it would have at least been a more informed decision. And at the end of the day, that is what matters the most. Any decision you make, making sure that you have the most information that you can get to make the best decision.